Not a lot going on today, to be completely honest with everybody, and just a whole bunch of little weird things that are happening, like this little tidbit that came out last night. And I guess Joe and Knight is a very liberal use of that term, especially when it comes to Joe Biden. But in the evening, he was taking a press conference, and Peter Doocy, probably the only reporter that's in the White House pool that really pushes back or asks any pertinent questions whenever it comes to these press conferences, whether it be for Press Secretary Psaki or for Joe whenever he decides to come out. I don't know. I guess, did he see a shadow on this one? Are we going to get 6 more weeks of winter? Something like that. But he was on a hot mic, and depending on who you're talking to, depending on which outlet you're reading, it was either on purpose to just really send a strong message that Joe Biden isn't going to put up with this shit anymore. I'm sure that flies, CNN. But he was caught on a hot mic calling Peter Doocy a stupid son of a bitch. Now, there's been a lot of comparisons drawn out there because Trump, okay, previous president, evil orange man, okay, who we're going to be talking about towards the end of this video. Spoiler, but no, he was just, oh my god, he called people sons of bitches all the time, like Colin Kaepernick for just absolutely expediting the wokening of professional sports. But did he ever say it to anybody to their face? Did he say it to any person who is in the media? You know, he was the president who was going to go directly after the media and censor the right of free speech and reporting for the media. The fifth estate was going to crumble under Trump. But then as soon as Biden hops in there, and he's continued to go back and forth and actually be even more vulgar, okay, because Trump would just point at them and be like, wrong, sorry, and then just point down and be like, no, what you're saying, it's not correct, okay? In fact, what we have is a very beautiful economy, okay? You can't take that away from me. In fact, most people are saying, well, in fact, it's the best economy that we've ever had, and you're wrong, and you're fake news. And that's about the extent of what you'd get. But Biden, it seems like this is becoming a regular situation whenever he decides to roll out of bed long enough in order to give one of these very scripted press conferences. He's calling somebody a bitch, a son of a bitch, a stupid bastard, whatever the fuck tumbles out of his... that's another thing reports have said, okay, when he had more control over his mental faculties. The guy kind of has a cursing streak about him. That's why I was, kind of... younger Joe was probably a little bit more of a pisser to go out with. Now it would just have to be before the early bird special ends up being served, and... I'd be going out for stewed prunes. Not exactly what would amount to be a fun evening out. But what did Joe have to say here? Well, President Biden called Fox News White House correspondent Peter Doocy a stupid son of a bitch Monday after he asked Biden about soaring inflation. Okay, why? Brought it up? Okay, was he mischaracterizing something? Was he trying to be like the White House or even Joe Biden in his recap of his first year in office by saying that inflation was a thing even before I took office? Like, yes, that's true, but it wasn't happening like it is now, but whatever. Do you think inflation is a political liability? That's like a really fair question. Honestly, you're heading into a huge midterm election at the end of the year, and every conceivable metric that's out there is just showing to a monumental defeat. And if you think that you can remedy one area, and you said over and over and over again your economic plan was going to add so many new jobs, and it was going to increase spending, and everybody would just be getting on to having a terrific economy. It'd be so much better than Trump's economy. Well, a year in now, okay, over a year, it's just not panning out. So I think it's a fair question, but that's what Doocy asked. Biden, as the press was ushered out of the event at the White House East Room. Oh, okay, cool. So he actually wasn't taking any questions. The media was just supposed to be there to listen and bask in the glory of the most popular president of all time. Okay. No, it's a great asset. More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch. Biden sneered into a hot mic. Okay, fair enough. He at least has his faculties about him to be still even just a touch sarcastic. President's vulgar insult was cut from the White House video feed, but was audible on a video stream by C-SPAN. Good for C-SPAN. I wonder if they've edited it out so far. Doocy's question about inflation came after Fox News poll released Sunday found that 85% of Americans are worried about inflation, which hit a 40-year high of 7% in December. Yeah, it's only continued to get worse from there. But you know what? Hey, I gotta give an old man his due on this one. He did call up Doocy, okay, and he just kind of sort of apologized. Just goes to show you how strong of a leader he is, okay? He could have doubled down on it and said, yeah, you're stupid, and guess what? I'm calling you again just to call you a fucking bitch this time for making a big stink about this. But no, he decided to call Doocy and clear the air and see where he gets his hair products from. Fox News, White House correspondent Peter Doocy said Monday on Fox News channel's Hannity that President Joe Biden called him to clear the air after calling him a stupid son of a bitch, what was caught on a hot microphone. After the press conference, Doocy asked Biden, do you think inflation is a political liability in the midterms? Oh, okay, cool. So there was more to that question. Good to know. Good to know. Biden responded, it's a great asset, more inflation, what a stupid son of a bitch. Doocy said, he called my cell phone. He said, it's nothing personal, pal. And we went back and forth, and we talked about it, just kind of moving forward, and I made sure to tell him that I think I'm always trying to ask something different from what everybody else is asking, and he said, you've got to. And he said, did he apologize? He said he cleared the air, and I appreciate it. We had a nice call, a wonderful call, a great call, a beautiful call. But really, okay, that's cool. Whatever, who gives a shit? It was just a spur of the moment thing, and it just actually kind of humanizes Biden just a little bit in my book. But he's going to need more of those moments if he intends to right this flailing ship, okay? Because this is not even specific. Like, we've talked a lot about approval ratings for Joe specifically, but what about the Democrats in general? What about their prospects? Because this is all on them heading into those midterm elections, okay? What do people think about the job that Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and then Biden in general as the big boss, okay? How are they doing? Well, about 60% of people disapprove with how Congress is going, okay? And it actually gets worse when it comes to the approval side of it, and I don't think that this is one of those far-right skewed polls, which I guess exist. I just can't point to any of them, but whatever. For argument's sake, the most recent Harvard-Harris poll showed that 59% of registered voters disapprove of how Democrat-controlled Congress is doing its job, while 30% strongly disapprove. Yeah, that's not great. Basically, it's about 30-30, really, if you break it down. 30% strongly disapprove and 29% slightly disapprove. It's the exact same shit, okay? Only 30% of the poll respondents said that they approve of how the Democrat-controlled Congress is doing its job. So 30% of people approve, okay? 30% strongly disapprove, and 11% just don't know. Like, how the fuck do you not know? And they like, oh, I just don't really pay attention to stuff. All I do is just watch Real Housewives. Or whatever the fuck. Just watch old reruns of CSI. I don't fucking know. Additionally, the poll found 48% approve of how Republican Party has handled their job. About what? Being the party of lofty aspirations and just simply rebutting everything that a wildly unpopular Congress is doing? I guess by that metric. It also found that 52% who disapproved of the Republican Party's job. Yeah, okay, so again, it's about 50-50. It's a coin toss. But it is lower than the Democrats' 60% disapproval, who currently control Congress and have the power of the majority. Slight majority in both houses at this point that they're just rapidly deteriorating. When the respondents were asked about Democrat Party going too far to the left, 28% that the party is just about right. Wow. 28% say that, yeah, no, it's fine. This just, descent into just abject leftist talking points. Like, it's not even socialism. Like, the rest of the fucking establishment Republicans keep saying, oh, it's just like communism, dumb, socialism, and all that fucking dumb shit. No, it's just leftist talking points, okay? You just read any one of those leftist screeds, okay? Any one of your critical theory textbooks. That's just what they're reading off of. That's not necessarily socialism. Sure, there's aspects of it in there. They're just way far beyond that, okay? So it's useless to be chasing the talking points of a fucking party from early in the 2010s when you were still in the doldrums of the aftermath of George W. Bush. Why do you keep bringing up those talking points, you fucking fossils? But that's only a subsection of the Republican Party, okay? Most of them have just kind of moved on from that, but got to address it, and it's already there. As a result, when the respondents were asked who they would vote for if the congressional elections were happening or were held today, the Republicans led by 6 points. That doesn't happen ever. Okay, this is just, it's a high watermark for them. 47% of the respondents said that they would vote for Democrats. Oh, okay, cool. Well, 53% that they would vote for Republicans. The monthly Harvard-Harris poll was taken January 19th and 20th. 19. There were about 1,815 registered voters asked to respond to questions. Yeah, there was also a subsection of this as well, okay? There was another set of questions that were asked about the same Harvard-Harris poll. And like I said, we're going to be circling back to Orange Man. And it looks like that old nostalgic feeling is starting to creep into the hearts of many people out there. A majority of voters say Donald Trump a better president than Biden. Oh, God, doesn't that suck? Okay, what was the campaign slogan for Biden? Okay, a return to normalcy. Okay, vote with your conscience. Okay, vote for somebody who's going to unite America. Well, looks like Orange Man was bad, but really not that bad. Now, was it really? In hindsight, most voters believe former President Donald Trump was a better commander-in-chief than Joe Biden. A Harvard-Harris poll released this week found. Survey, same one, taken January 19th through 20th, among 1,815 voters. Wasn't that the year that slavery was ended? Asked respondents who thought, or was rather asked about who has been a better president, Trump or Biden. A majority, 53%, said Trump was a better president, while Biden fell 6 points behind. 57% said that he had been a better leader. What aspects, okay, like even if you were just asking specific targeted questions about what aspects a president has leverage over, what side, or what a president directly controls that Biden would be out in front of, even just after a year and change that he's been in office, okay, that his policies have been in action. How has Biden been better than Trump in any conceivable aspect? Is there any place that you can point to by saying that Joe Biden's been better? Like, without just bringing up meme answers, I can't think of a single aspect. Let's continue. That same survey also pitched a hypothetical 2024 matchup between Biden and Trump and found that Trump leading 6 percentage points. But can you really trust polls, right? Polls are always wrong, right? Similarly, a McLaughlin and Associates survey released last week also presented a hypothetical rematch between the two figures and found that Trump leading Biden by 5 percentage points, 59 to 44. That comes as Biden approval's ratings tank underwater by double digits, sitting at under 14.4% per Real Clear Politics on Tuesday. That coincides with the RMG Research Scott Rasmussen survey released Monday, showing Biden's net approval rating at -10. And between the two, okay, Rasmussen is actually like one of the closest, one of the most accurate polls that are out there and have been for a multitude of elections, okay. Year over year, they seem to be pretty good in their historical recounts of things. And then Real Clear Politics is simply an aggregator. So I don't know, man. It really seems like a lot of people are no longer riding with Biden, if they ever were to begin with. Rasmussen survey also pitched a specific scenario to respondents, asking if they would prefer a presidential candidate who was a Republican who supported policies like President Trump, a more traditional Republican, a Democrat who supported policies similar to Senator Bernie Sanders, or a more traditional Democrat. All right. Of the four choices, a plurality, 30%, said that they would prefer a Republican who supported policies like President Trump. Aha! Reinforcing the fact that Trump continues to have a firm grip on the party and the GOP's base as the midterms approach. Exactly. Yeah, you really do hate to see it. It's almost like, okay, yeah, with the pandemic, with social justice ideology, with the downfall of many major institutions, now it finally seems like the mainstream is catching up with what everybody's known for a long time. Might not like the delivery method. You might think that it's just a little bit too harsh, and you don't really like those mean tweets. If he would just put down the phone, we'd be able to accept his policies a little bit better. Why don't you just plunk your fucking fat ass down, pet your cat, and leave the fighting to the big boys, the guys who actually have the ideas in mind and the tenacity to fucking act on them. How about you just fucking do that and then just take your pussy asses and sit off on the fucking sidelines, okay? How about you do that? Because shit's gonna be hitting the fan here really fucking soon. We're gonna be needing some strong leadership here soon, because all of these fucking weak asses that are out here, that are in these positions of power, they're gonna fall flat on their fucking faces here right quick. You want to return to normalcy for the midterms? You want to return to normalcy in 2024? I think you know where the fuck this shit is going, and I can't wait for it. Oh, it's gonna be beautiful. I'm glad there wasn't the immediate victory in 2020, because I'm gonna savor 2022 and 2024. It's gonna be glorious. With that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.